Dear audience, today's topic is how enlightenment can save Pakistan from extremism. Uh, we'll cover some of the following themes. That first is that what is enlightenment all about. Second is that what happened recently, which is termed as a Much incident, in which 11 people belonging to the Hazara Shia community were slaughtered. And then it led to a crisis, and all over Pakistan there were protests and sit-ins and things like that. And how enlightenment can help reduce, minimize the level of intolerance, extremism, radicalization, militancy. What are the challenges which Pakistan is facing these days in terms of extremism? How enlightenment, which is termed as a distant dream, can be transformed into a reality? What are the impediments in order to establish a culture of enlightenment in Pakistan? So these are the things which we will discuss today. So the first is, what is enlightenment all about? It is primarily a way of thinking. It's an approach which is based on moderation, which is based on broad-mindedness, that those who are broad-minded are enlightened. An approach which is based on tolerance, an approach which promotes innovation, creativity. So basically, a society which is not enlightenment, which is socially backward, where the mindset is a very close mindset, that society can never ever progress, can never ever develop. And it has to do with the low level of education, it has to do with the feudal and the tribal structures, it has to do with the system of exploitation, it has to do with the approach which negates freedom, which negates democracy, which doesn't allow people to think objectively. So if a society is not enlightened, it would be extremist, intolerant society. So that is something which we have to understand, that in an enlightened culture, there is absolutely no possibility of terrorism. There is no possibility of the radicalization of youth, of intolerance, of militancy, of violence. Unfortunately, Islam, which is termed as a religion of peace and tolerance, but in Muslim societies or Muslim countries stretching from Morocco to Indonesia, we see surge of extremism. That enlightenment which requires people to go for a knowledge-friendly society, that has not happened in many, many Muslim countries. So therefore, Libya, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Afghanistan, Pakistan, you name, all such countries facing a big challenge, because in such countries the process of enlightenment has not been unleashed. So that's a dilemma for the Muslim countries, which way they want to go. Unless they pursue an approach which is tolerant, which is broad-minded, They will not be able to weed out extremism, because terrorism is like a tree of terrorism. It starts from extremism, intolerance, militancy, violence, radicalization, and then terrorism. Now, having said that, what happened 10 days ago in much part of Balochistan, where in a coal mine, more than around 11 Hazara community workers were slaughtered. It's not for the first time that the Hazara community in Quetta has been targeted. They have lost 2,000 people in more than 2,000 people in the last 18 years. This thing has been going on since 2002. So this reality or the tragic incident of Mutch, and how their family members, they just sit in protest, Quetta, and they refuse to bury those who were slaughtered. That's another debate. That's another thing, that what were their demands, that the Prime Minister should come first and then they will bury that. And then it led to all over Pakistan a wave of protest marches and sit-in, and almost the entire country was paralyzed. So basically, what we have seen is that the culture of enlightenment, had there been culture of enlightenment in Pakistan, the culture of tolerance, the broad-mindedness, such incidents wouldn't have taken place. Not only the Mutch incident, many other incidents, the last 20-30 years, in which thousands of people have been killed and injured. So the question is, how a culture of enlightenment can be established in Pakistan, a country composed of 220 million people. And certainly, if we, in retrospect, if we see things, that in the 50s, in the 60s, even till mid-70s, there was a degree of tolerance in Pakistan. Extremism, militancy, radicalization, violence were not that common in Pakistan. It all began, it got an impetus particularly after Zia-ul-Haq's policy of Islamization and the manner in which he used religion for political purposes. The Afghan Jihad, the Kalashnikov culture, there is a history to it. So therefore, Pakistan, which till the mid-70s was a relatively tolerant country, drifted into the path of extremism. There are 4 factors why, how a culture of enlightenment can be established in Pakistan. The first is primarily focus on education, focus on promoting reading habit, because it is only through better education, it is only through reading habit that the minds of people can be opened. Unless the minds of people are closed, it basically means that there is something wrong with the system. So in the country where 25 million children are out of school, where religious schools, instead of providing, to a large extent, instead of providing good education, are being used to promote extremism. And not only religious schools, it is, I think, in tandem, it's everywhere. The third thing is about the economic, because an empty mind is a devil's paradise. Unless there is a focus on social and human development. Corruption and nepotism, these are eradicated. Focus is on economic development, on merit, upholding of merit. So those people who basically get a space, I'm talking about the extremists, they will automatically be marginalized. If a country is socially and economically better off, if the youths are empowered, the educational system, the culture of reading, and then instead of ending up in a situation where there is a culture of gossiping and rumors and an empty mile is the devil's paradise, people are conscious about time management. They are very much mindful to the fact that they must utilize time in the best possible manner, that they cannot afford to waste time. And that brings us to the fourth thing, which is the leadership. To what extent the leadership is serious? I am talking about the political leadership, I am talking about the military leadership, I am talking about the bureaucratic, I am talking about as far as the corporate sector is concerned, the businessmen and all those who influence the media. Certainly it is the media which has a responsibility to discourage all such efforts which promote extremism. But what we see, particularly the electronic media, because of its interest or vested interest, it has been very irresponsible in reporting. So therefore, I would like to say that electronic media and print media, the government, the society, the state actors, they are the ones who must make a decision that they should not plunge Pakistan into a state of extremism, intolerance, militancy, radicalization, violence, which leads to terrorism. It's very simple to understand. Otherwise, Pakistan would never ever be able to emerge as a successful country. If the passport of Pakistan is at the lowest, the image of Pakistan, the economy of Pakistan, the education of Pakistan, the literacy ratio of Pakistan. So these are the things which we have to understand, that this is 2021 and the country cannot afford the wastage of time. There has to be a culture of productivity. Everyone must work. It is the state's responsibility to provide free and compulsory quality-oriented education. It is the state's responsibility to basically spend money, the taxes, money collected from taxes, resources from taxes, for human development, for social development, to eradicate corruption and nepotism and to promote the culture of merit. So if such things are in practice, it would help the process of enlightenment. Basically means that people should not be narrow-minded, should be broad-minded, should be tolerant, should be mindful of their duties and rights also. Rule of law, good governance, justice system, these are the things which cannot be ensured unless there is a process of enlightenment. People with closed minds, people with parochial approach, narrow-minded approach cannot curb and prevent the forces of evil and darkness. extremism and terrorism. Such forces who have tried to exploit religion, who have tried to exploit ethnicity, who have tried to exploit political issues, unless they are dealt according to the law, and the judiciary, the judicial system needs to put its house in order. Because the thing is basically that if the judiciary is not corrupt, if the judiciary provides timely, affordable justice to people, then 70% of the conflicts which we see in Pakistan today, observed in Pakistan today, will cease to exist. So therefore, I would end with the hope that after decades and decades of bitter experiences, of crisis, from crisis to crisis, it's time that particularly those who are educated people should come forward and help establish the culture of enlightenment. Thank you very much.